fulfill before pre-2020, they have to fulfill them even post 2020. That's one thing. Then the issue about creating that $100 billion finance available, mobilizing that level of fund for the developing world by the developed countries, and then giving a new target by 2025 or 2025. We are saying that when there is a global stock taking in 2023, before that the new target should also be declared. There was a lot of emphasis in this meeting about ensuring how the finance issue is handled, because there is so much of talk about financial support, technology transfer to the developing world, which has to be done. But unfortunately, all this is happening mainly in discussions. On the ground, things are not happening. So the basics group wants to assert this in a big way and make it a big issue at the COP24, and see that we no longer have a situation where the developed world keeps talking about it but doesn't actually deliver. These are some of the, you can say, a lot of the discussions happened around the adaptation, what we can do about ensuring transparency, nationally determined contributions, etc., etc. We all know that the developing countries are the real sufferers, although our nationally determined contributions are the best or maybe the maximum in terms of our, you can say, when you compare it with how much we contribute to global warming and climate change issues. And as far as India is concerned, you all know that with our dynamic Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, we are taking up everything related to climate change in a big way, whether it is 175 gigawatts by 2022, whether it is electric mobility, whether it is moving from BS4 to BS6, and whether it is the International Solar Alliance, where he has given the new concept of a one sun, one world and one grid, and invited the rest of the countries also for joining the International Solar Alliance. So India is trying to do its best. There was a good spirit amongst the basic countries. Everybody was very positive, very receptive. And we have also decided to, we opened up a discussion to be working together for more cooperation on in more fields between the basic countries. And the next basics meeting, Brazil has requested that it should be, the next 6 months it should be hosted in Brazil. So we have initiated a discussion on closer cooperation between the 4 basic countries, and we will be formulating all that, taking all the suggestions, and then maybe there will be a formalized discussion on those cooperation activities in the meeting at proposed meeting in Brazil. So this is broadly, I think, otherwise you have the statement available, you have the stand available, and we can now request you yourself to, you have the 3 countries representatives here, you have ideas to indicate who the question is directed to. Yes, please.
I'm Rashomon, I work with the Times of India newspaper. My question is to Dr. Harshvardhan. Dr. Harshvardhan said there was an agreement in the basic meeting that in case of developed countries, if they won't be able to fulfill their pre-2020 actions by 2020, then the gap will be fulfilled post-2020. Does this mean they will have to do more than what they have promised as part of the NDC post-2020?
what I said is very clear. You see, this is our view of the basics, and we are going to put this view very strongly before the COP24 and to all relevant stakeholders, including the world. That if you were supposed to do something till a particular time, and if you told that you don't have to fulfill that even after 2020. That's, I think, absolutely clear. There should be no confusion about it.
There's a financial commitment of $100 billion made available exclusively for climate finance. So the ministers discussed and said that in case that amount has not been fulfilled, that commitment has not been fulfilled by 2020, it can overflow. That's
How much of this pledged 100 billion has actually come into the developed countries? How much of the 100 billion has actually come?
Who do you want to ask this question?
Anyone who could answer this.
在2016年这个开缔联合国大会的时候呢，英国和澳大利亚的两国的部长代表发达国家呢做了一个这个盘点。他们说，当时在2016年，他们讲呢，当时发达国家已经为1000亿的资金呢提供了640多亿美金的这种资金的支持。但是发展中国家呢，并没有接受，因为这个发达国家跟发展国家在这个问题上的理解这个不一样，特别是提出来呢，它的这个资金的数量的计算方面呢，有很多是重复的。
On the issue you ask about 100 billion committed by developed countries for developing countries, I clearly remember in the year 2016 at the COP that took place that year, the environment minister from UK and Australia did a presentation on the stock taking of the financial support provided by developing countries. According to their presentation, as of the year 2016, developed countries have provided altogether 64 billion US dollar in their efforts towards the 100 billion. But that figure wasn't accepted by the developing countries. And the reason is because we have different understandings of this issue in the way you calculate the amount of financial support provided by developed countries. When the method is different, the amount from the calculation is different. And the developing countries hold the view that some of the money have been overcounted in the stock take by developed countries.
在美国宣布退出巴黎协定，停止了对气候这个领域注资增资的这么一个前提之下，去年9月份，这个在气候融资峰会上，发达国家的领导人呢还是表示，这个1000亿，2020年1年1000亿美金的这个资金额呢，他们争取能够实现，这个我们拭目以待。因为这件事儿呢，资金问题也是发展国家最关心的问题，也是这个表明气候变化的多边行动是不是能够建立起政治互信一个很重要的问题。所以我们希望到2020年，这个每年1000亿美金的资金能够满足。这样的话呢，我们一起来共同的确保2020年之后。这个资金呢能够有所增加，来满足发展国家提高能力、加强行动的需要。
When the U.S. announced their intention to leave the Paris Agreement, they have also announced that they will stop any further financial support to developing countries for climate actions. In the Climate Finance Summit held last September, developing countries have reaffirmed their commitment to provide 100 billion per annum in support of actions from developing countries. As developing countries, we will wait and see further actions from developing countries for this commitment, because of a key concern to the developing countries. We hope to see that they will honor their commitment for providing 100 billion per annum by before 2020, and also in the post-2020 period to further raise that amount in terms of financial support to developing countries, to support capacity building, technology, and actions on the part of developing countries. And we think this is very important in further making the multilateral process more effective and further enhancing the political trust and confidence for this process.
What you can just pass the microphone here.
So this is Hans Singh Rajput from ETV Bharat. My question to you is, like, India is working a lot in the sector of solar energy, increasing the solar energy. And since China is one of the countries who has done it very well, can in future we envisage a sort of a tie-up between the two countries for India to develop its solar energy?
You see, even without this basic, where we all four are together, we are open to doing things together anywhere with anyone in this world. That's our Prime Minister has a very, very pragmatic and very, very, I think, visionary thinking. And here also, as I said, that one of the last agendas of this particular meeting was that apart from these agendas related to basics or the which are highlighted, we also discussed amongst ourselves create a process of working together on other issues also, where we can closely cooperate to ensure that we have better remedial actions for handling climate change and global warming issues. So I don't see any, I would say there's any reservation about anything that you have suggested to anyone.
Urmi Goswami from the Economic Times. I have one question is on the pre-2020. It's in relation to what you said, Minister, the fact that if countries, the developed countries haven't met their sort of commitments, it spills over to the next thing. Is it just, and the explanation was focused more on finance, because obviously the is basically a progression, so it takes into account. Would that then, should we take it to understand that the focus of the pre-2020 conversation that's to happen at Katowice is going to be much more focused on finance rather than on commitments in terms of other actions? That's one. And the other question is that one of the key issues that has been raised ahead of the COP is about raising ambition in light of the IPCC special SR 115 report. And again, I realize that finance is the issue, but clearly there is going to be a conversation on upping one's NDCs, and I'm wondering what the basic position is on that. Are the basic countries individually looking at increasing their
I think I told you that, you see, I mentioned that there has been a discussion about finance, but there has been a discussion about everything, including the NDCs also, including the transparency issues also, including the adaptation issues also. So everything has been discussed. Finance, we have also mentioned because one of the subjects where we said that if they are not able to fulfill by 2020, they have to do it post 2020 also. That is what we are going to assert, and that is what we are going to communicate as a group to the whole world.
你提的这3个问题啊，我简单的回答一下。关于2020年之前，这个要各国要落实一系列缔约国大会所做的决定。另外呢，这个要兑现各国的这个承诺，这是2020年之前应该要做的事情。
I'll briefly provide answers to the questions you have raised. 20, all parties will work to implement the COP decisions adopted at the meetings and honor their commitments.
具体的有这么几条。第一条就是要为发展中国家提供每年1000亿美金的资金的支持，还有技术合作、技术开发、技术转让的支持。第二呢，发达国家要率先大幅度的减排，而且他们也提出了2020年之前所要达到的减排量。这个第3点呢，就是这个各个国家应该尽快的批准京都议定书第2承诺期的这个要尽快的批准，让它生效。这是2020年之前要做的，但是它的最关键的还是资金问题。
These actions for all countries can be summarized into 3 categories. The first category is for developed countries to provide 100 billion per annum for developing countries to support and provide support in technology development and technology transfer for developing countries. The second category is also for developed countries to take lead in reducing their greenhouse gas emissions to achieve the agreed pre-2020 mitigation goals. The third category is for all parties and countries to ratify as soon as possible the second phase of commitment of the Kyoto Protocol so that the protocol and agreement could enter into effect at an earlier date. But out of these 3 category of actions, the key is finance.
关于这个 NDC 的问题呢，在我们这个联合声明里边已经明确的表明了我们对 NDC 的一些共同的立场，就是说 NDC 呢，它应该是按照巴黎协定第3条的规定，应该包括这个减缓、适应、资金、技术、能力建设、透明度等等的一系列问题。这个然后呢，在这个第4条、第7条、第9条、第10条、第11条，也对相应的这些要素提出了明确的要求。所以应该说 ，NDC 呢是包括全要素的，是一个全面的、平衡的，应该呢是有约束力的。
On the issue of NDC, the joint statement from the 27th Basic Ministerial Meeting on Climate Change has explained very clearly the common position held by the Basic Group. That is, according to Article 3 of the Paris Agreement, NDC covers all areas including mitigation, adaptation, technology, finance, capacity building, and transfer of technologies. Articles 4, 7, 9, 10, 11 of the Paris Agreement have all written very clearly requirements for all the different elements of NDC. And we want to ensure that this is a balanced and comprehensive package of actions that covers all elements.
Thank you. Anybody else? Next.
Yeah.
We haven't been this side, so let me just get a question from this side. Yeah.
I'm Ajit from United News of India. I just want to ask an open question that apart from basic countries, how many developing countries you estimate that they will be in support of you at COP? And have you done any lobbying towards developed countries on the financial issues?
See, there are various forums. BASIC is one forum where there are only 4 countries. I mentioned like-minded countries where there are 25. Then you have G77 in China. So there are various forums. And I mean, I would not use the word lobbying. That's not the correct. We are getting together to get a common sense of negotiating the climate change agreement. So all these countries are working together.
Sir, Kushal from IANS. This question is for Dr. Harshvardhan. Sir, how much exactly has India received since 2016 in terms of international finance, and how are we dispersing it?
See, the only quantifiable money that we receive is under the GCA. The rest, and that is the worry of the group here, that the rest of the finance must be over and above the normal assistance that has to be different. It must be climate specific. So the only climate specific funding that you receive is under the GCF right now. The rest, calculating it will be extremely different. Any other question? Yeah.
Just a supplementary to what Kushal asked, Nikhil from DNA newspaper. Even from the GCF, there was one project that was being undertaken in Odisha, if I remember correctly. After that, which was being done through NABARD. After that, is there any other project that has been started with the help of GCF funding?
There are 2 projects. One is the Odisha project which you mentioned, which is 39 billion, and the other is the 69 billion project on coastal areas. So these are 2 projects under GCF.
What is the second project?
Coastal project, coastal development project. Any other question?
Os países que integram o BASIC têm dado individualmente grandes contribuições para o acordo climático.
The basic countries have individually made great contributions to the climate change agreement.
A exemplo do Brasil, que nesses 3 últimos anos dobrou suas áreas em unidades de conservação, aumentando em 119%.
Brazil, over the last 3 years, has more than doubled its contribution to increasing protected areas by 119%.
O conjunto das suas políticas ambientais retirou, nesses últimos 3 anos, 3,8 bilhões de toneladas de CO2 da atmosfera.
We have removed, over the past 3 years, 3.8 billion tons of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere.
Quando juntamos as contribuições do Brasil com a África do Sul, Índia e China, esses países em desenvolvimento, apesar dos desafios sociais e econômicos que têm feito a sua parte.
When we unite Brazil, South Africa, India, and China, our 3 countries have done a lot to combat climate change.
Mas é preciso que todos contribuam com o acordo climático, sobretudo aqueles que têm o compromisso pelo financiamento.
But it is important that all countries contribute towards the climate change agreement, especially those that owe us financial contribution.
O mais importante desse nosso encontro é a afirmação política desses 4 importantes países em favor do cumprimento do acordo climático.
The most important aspect of the meeting is the commitment of the 4 countries present here today towards the implementation of the climate change agreement,
E essa é uma posição estratégica nesse momento de pré-conferência da Polônia.
This is a strategic commitment that we have in this period that anticipates the climate change conference in Poland.
Nós não queremos apenas que todos cumpram com seu papel. Nós queremos que a ambição seja aumentada porque o clima no planeta exige que a gente aumente a nossa ambição.
We don't want countries to merely do their job. We want countries to do more and to go beyond because global climate demands such action from all of us.
Para nós ficarmos em 1,5 graus, é preciso aumentar em 5 vezes mais aquilo que foi prometido como financiamento global.
For us to stay within the 1.5 degree Celsius temperature gap, we must increase financing in over 5 times current levels.
É preciso mais financiamento, mas é preciso repensar o nosso modelo de desenvolvimento.
In addition to more financing, we must also rethink our development model.
E esse é o compromisso do BASIC, e é esse o trabalho e a missão que teremos até a COP e pós-COP.
This is BASIC's mission, and this is the work that we will undertake up until the COP in December.
É isso.
Thank you.
Just to add to what Excellency Brazil has indicated, I want to use a phrase from my country, in South Africa. We have this belief that, with one figure, you cannot lift a single piece of corn. Now, as we face this bigger challenge around climate change, what is important for the BASIC group is to leverage on the strength of the numbers in our people, our population numbers, the strength of our economies, and the strength of the biodiversity of our species as we go into COP24. With that strength, we're able to put together our position around the commitments made in Paris to ensure that we're able to leverage and strengthen our voice and position in this regard. We also believe, as the countries of 4, that we're doing more in responding to the challenges of climate change on the 1.5 degrees centigrade. We want to use this strength, the collective strength of the 4 basic countries, to call or demand for more action from developed countries, but also to demand more action in terms of the finance that is provided as a means of responding to the challenges of climate change. We want to use this, we're using the strength of the collective force to ensure that there's transparency in accountability and reporting on how these funds are being used. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, we still have one. Okay, we'll let that be the last.
In the run-up to the COP, we already have the US, which has withdrawn from the Paris Agreement, but we have other countries like Australia, and even in Europe, you have Germany saying that they cannot meet their targets. So I'm wondering that, given that being the background, you mentioned the collective power of 4, and I'm just wondering how, in more concrete terms, how do you see this conversation going at COP24? Because the usual cleavage is that we need to do more, and everybody agrees that everybody needs to do more, but the developed countries are falling behind, whether it's in terms of money or in action. And I'm wondering, how does BASIC leverage on that? Where do you see the pressure points? Even on conversation on adaptation, which indicates is silent, mostly silent.
I
think that is what basically this group is also, number one, this group is also trying to highlight, and this group has to assert and be communicated with the rest of the and this group is also going to be communicating with all other groups, all other relevant groups, and I think together, after all these negotiations are reviewing and putting your point forward and then coming to a conclusion. So now at least when the Paris Agreement was made, everybody came together and then they ultimately signed. Now it is the first issue is that ensuring that whatever everybody has promised in 16, they at least ensure that all those things are implemented. So this is not only this group. This group is also going to be communicating with the other groups like G7 plus China is there. The like-minded groups, we had a meeting with the like-minded people also. So wherever there is no doubt in the mind of the rest of the world that we are probably the most sincere, but our sincerity can't be taken for granted. That is what we are going to assert. That is what we are going to communicate to everybody else in the world.
So, thank you very much on behalf of all of us here. Let me first thank all the friends from the media who have been here. But more importantly, on behalf of the Government of India and all of you present here, I must express my gratitude to all the excellencies from China, Brazil and South Africa who have taken the trouble of traveling to India and their teams who have been with us. Thank you, excellencies, for being with us. I hope you enjoyed staying in Delhi. Thank you very much.